Hello guys, in this video we are going to make this very simple form with animation. So it's very easy, it's not hard to do, but let me demonstrate what I mean with animation. Now in this input field, once I click on it, you see the cursor is blinking. Now let's fill out this field as the browser says. So let me just type something random. You see what happens? Let me remove this one. So this is a very simple thing to do. We are going to learn how to do it in this video. So now we start. But anyway, let me just go straight to the point.
Here we go
because
again.
I type slowly and I don't want this video to be too long. Therefore, I will be copying and pasting the code and explaining what is going on behind, or what is the work of each code that is being displayed on your screen. So let's start. We don't have much time to waste. But before then, I'll have to type a few things myself. I'll have to type a few things. So just press Shift and 1, then press Tab on my keyboard. Of course, I'm using VS Code, and it comes pre-installed with Emmet. So this is the plugin that enables me to do this. So in case you don't have VS Code, you can download Emmet plugin in your own editor. So now let me change this to animated form. Now another thing I have to do is to connect the style with the index file. The CSS, the style.css, we have to connect the two. If not, what we are doing today is not going to work. So link, then tab, then href is css, then style.css. Now I save. So the next thing I have to do is to go live. Now click here. So now we are live. Okay, so we'll go straight to the code editor. Now I'll have to paste in the code. Alright, so what I have to do now is just go to the body, then Control V on my keyboard. We have a div with an ID of main. So this is where we are going to put every other element or every other item. So inside this div, let me correct something. So inside this div, inside the main div, we have the ID of title message, and inside we have a welcome. Of course, it's not necessary, but it's just for design sake. Then we have the logo. You can use an image if you wish, but let me just use text. We have a container, a div of class container. Now inside that div, this is where we put our what's it called, the type field, the field we are going to type. So it has a type of text and a class of INP, which is input. Then required is required. So we will it is very important because we are filling a form. Then the placeholder is email. In case you don't know, the placeholder is just the text that you see on the field that indicates what you're supposed to fill in that particular field. In that particular field, of course. Now we have the label for this input, which is email. Then under it we have the ID of line. So this one is just a line we are going to draw under. Now all you have to do is just copy this and paste it here. Then change this one. Type will be password. The class and everything will be the same. Only the placeholder should change to password. Then the label also should change to password. Then this one should be the same thing. Under this one, then we have the button. Then we also have the the sign up message. I think I've made a mistake here. Sorry, I made a mistake here. So all I have to do is just let me send this one forward. Then copy this. Alright. So this is the opening and this is the closing div. Alright, so let me save. Now let's see what we have. Very, very, very ugly. So this is the welcome message. This is the logo, and other things. So now we have done the HTML, we move straight to the CSS. So now what we have is the imports. So this is just to import some fonts from Google. So we are importing Poppins. We are going to import the Poppins font. If you have already installed it in your computer, you do not need to import this thing. All right. So now what we are doing, what this one signifies, this asterisk is to select everything. That is to select everything inside the page, or inside the page. To select everything. That is what that's what's it called, the asterisk is. So we are given every element inside the what's it called, the HTML page. The margin will be 0, the padding will be 0, box sizing, border box, font family, popping. So what we are actually doing is removing all these default margins and paddings that the browser usually gives the elements. So we are going to reset all of them to 0. Now let's save, see what we have. All right. Now you see the whole thing has shifted backwards and the font has changed. All right, so let's continue. So now we are going to style the main div. That is this one, the main div, the div that contains every other thing. Now we give it a width of 300 pixels, background color of white, border radius of 10 pixels. That is around the edges. If you don't know, the overflow will be hidden. So we are giving it an overflow of hidden because we don't want any scrolling. Let's say something is too big and that there is this scrolling, this scrolling thing. We don't want that. So the padding will be 20 pixels up and down, 25 pixels left and right. The position is absolute. So positioning absolute, in case you don't understand, is simple. Absolute simply means we are going to take the element out of the normal flow. Once we take it out of the normal flow, then we'll place it at the top of the page, but not at the top here. We mean at the top anywhere, but facing you, not going up like this. It's facing you. Like let's say you cut out a page or a particular part of a book, then you take that part you cut out and paste it right on top of the book, the cover of the book. So now we give it a top position of 50%, left is 50%. Then this what we are doing is to place it at the center, but this one will not work except we put transform translate 50% x direction, 50% y direction. So this will put it smack at the center of the page. So now let's see what we have. All right, as you can see, it's now dead center of the page. All right, so let's continue. So this one we are going to style the title message, which is this one. So the title message div, we have the font weight will be 600, which is semi-bold. The color with this hashtag 333, which is gray, dark gray. Then the text will be at the center, will be aligned at the center. Let's see what we have. So now we are going to style the logo. First of all, let me see. It's an ID, so put the hashtag. So logo, the font size will be 3.2 m, font weight will be 600, text transform will be uppercase. That is, everything should be in capital letter. Then the text align center. I don't need to explain that. Let's see what we have. All right. Now let's do these ones. All right. So in this one we have the width is 100%. So it's just to take 100% of the width of the main, which is 300 pixels, and the height will be 45 pixels. Border is none. Outline is, we don't want those lines. That is these lines. We don't want them. We don't want these lines. So the border is none, the outline is none, then the position is relative, top 20 pixels. So position of relative simply means it's still within the flow, but we just want to give it another position relative to the original position that the browser gave to this element. Okay, so let's see what we have. Alright, okay, so let's continue. So the next thing we are going to style is the label. This one, we are going to style the label next. So let's continue. So what we have here is this is we are selecting this label, so container label. So position of relative, top is -10 pixels, font size is 11 pixels, color is gray, pointer events none. So let's see what we have. Alright, you see under it, these are these two, email and password, the one that is under, you see the one here. So the once I type, it is the placeholder that goes away. So the one under, that is the label, but it doesn't have to be there. It doesn't look good, so we have to take care of that. So input focus plus label simply means the focus on in CSS is once you click on something, once you click on an element, you have focused on it. Alright, so input focus plus label simply means once you click here, then the label should react to whatever code you put there. So we are going to put it at the position of top -30 pixels. So let's see what we have once you click. Let's see what's going to happen. Alright, let me save it. Alright, you see, so once I click it, you see what is going on now. And again, let me type something. So you see, so we have to fix this. This is not how it's supposed to be. So what I want to do is, once I type something, there will be an animation, just as this is here. Alright, so what we have now is input valid plus label. So what does it mean? Input simply means input valid simply means once you type something, then it is valid. That is why it says please fill out this field. So if there is nothing in it, then it is invalid. But as far as there is a character in it, or there are any random thing in it, it is now valid. So, or we want it to maintain that position, this new position once we type something. So now let me save it and let's see what we have. Let me refresh. Alright, so you see it now maintains that position. Alright, so but the way it happens, I don't fancy it. It's not like the original animation, the original page you saw earlier in the intro. So let's work on that right away. So the first thing we have to do is to go back to this place and give it an opacity. The label, give it an opacity of 0. Now let's check it out. Alright, it is no longer visible, but it's still there, but just that you cannot see it. So because we gave it an opacity of what? 0. Alright, now we have to come back here to the label and give it to the input valid label and give it an opacity of 1. So which means whenever you type something, it should appear on the screen. Whenever you type anything in that field, that label should appear. So let's see what we have now. Let me refresh. Alright, you see it. Now let me remove it. Sorry. Okay, so of course you can stop here if you wish. That is the animation. but I have to add some, I want it to happen with a little bit of animation, just as you have seen in the original project. So what I have to do now is just to go here and type transition all, then 0.3s, which simply means 0.3 second, 300 milliseconds, sorry. So then is, of course, you can leave that one and out if you wish. So let's see what we have. See, it's not happening gradually. Nice. So now we have to go straight. Okay, first of all, we have to style the line. So in the line we have width is 100%, height is 0.1 m, background color gray, position relative, overflow hidden. I don't need to explain any of this. So the next thing we have to do is to style the button. Now we have width of 100%, height is 45 pixels, border radius is 25 pixels, that's around the edges, font size is 18 pixels, color white, border none. I've already explained all these things earlier. Then the margin is 20 pixels, 0. So the margin is simply the space outside, not the space inside. The padding is the space inside. Let me explain. Outside here, that is the margin. Then inside here is the padding. Alright? So overflow hidden, cursor pointer. Cursor pointer simply means once you move your mouse, it will change to the finger. Then background image, instead of an image, we give it a linear gradient. So just copy these codes here into your own project to give you the right the right colors or the right gradient. So transition 0.3s. So in the next code you see, you understand why the transition is there. So let's save it and see what we have. Understand? So this is basically the thing. Alright, so let's move forward. So now we have when you hover on the button, the letter spacing should be 6 pixels. Let's see what we have. I've saved it. Alright, so this is where the transition comes into play. So that is that. We'll have to move to the next element. Now we are for this one, don't have an account, sign up. So that is the one we are going to style, or this is the code for the style. So basically this one, as you can see, it goes over to this to the second page, and we are going to change that by simply reducing the font size to 15 pixels. So let's see what we have. Alright, now the background of the main is the same thing with the background color of the body, so we have to change that. I forgot to do it earlier, so that's what we're going to do next. So we go to the top, under the asterisk, or on top of the main div. So background color is this grayish color, or light gray color. Now I saved it. Let's see what we have. Alright, so that's basically it. Of course, I want to say something. When this one says valid, this is not how we do form validation. You don't use CSS to do form validation. If you try that, a hacker is going to, or let me say your database is going to be destroyed in 2 seconds, or even less than a second. So this is just for the beauty of the page. It has nothing to do with the main validation. You use JavaScript or PHP. So CSS is not used for form validation. It's just for the beauty, for the styling. That's all. So thank you guys for watching this video. I hope you have learned a thing or two. It is unconventional. I don't like typing now. I don't have to type it again. If not, I will spend the whole night here. So thank you so much, guys. See you next time. Goodbye.